Daryl
prefers the double 18 route.
Change of tack doesn't mean a change of fortunes, and Pilgrim's going to get a go at double 18 himself, and he finds it to lead by leg.
A lot of pressure on his shoulders this week, a big favourite tag. What an unbelievable week he's had. Can he start finals night with a win? Absolutely can, and in special circumstances as well. Right bang in the middle of the bull. Daryl Pilgrim is one real special play, but credit there to Justin Smith. He had his opportunities there, and a missed start at double 16 proved crucial in the end. Excellent start from a very slow burner of a start, 98.76. Daryl Pilgrim is on a real mission. Justin Smith's got it all to do. It's Group 2 up next. It's Denny Oldercoulter from Holland against Rob Collins.
You'll certainly know what you're going to get from Rob if you've tuned into him for the very first time this evening, as Oldercoulter looks at double 16 for a 2-0 lead. And this is a real solid start from the Dutchman. 2-0 he leads.
Robbie required 104.
This will be an incredible steal. He's going to get a dart or a double. He was never in this leg of darts.
Game shot.
He is now.
Rob Collins.
What a finish. That 140 set at 104.
To wrap things up, it's going to be 2 in hand at double 16.
Game
to
shot,
get it done, and look at the relief on his face as he gets the better of Rob Collins by 4 legs to 1, whose face always paints a picture. Denny Oldercoulter in the victor's enclosure, a 4-1 victory for him. And that was despite a plethora of missed doubles in there as well. But Oldercoulter on the board. Justin Smith needs to win to stay in. If he loses to Scott Taylor after the break, he is out.
A remarkable comeback from Justin Smith against Charlie Large to qualify to be here tonight. It's looking like Scott Taylor is going to need to do the same against Justin Smith.
Game shot on the third
because
leg.
Justin Smith potentially, if he can get it done in the next leg or two, could be into the semi-finals.
Yes. Yeah, you can see the frustration because that was lying. Just to let us know, he would have finished.
48.
Well, this is to send himself into the semi-finals because he'd be on 2 points and a positive legs difference if he can convert double 16. And the bearded dragon is into the semi-finals. Justin Smith, who was facing elimination if he lost, has got the elation of qualification. And Scott Taylor has got it all to do now against Daryl Pilgrim in the final game of this group. A 94 average enough for the bearded dragon to send himself into the semis and looking for a second Saturday night win here under the roof of the Live Lounge. Well, coming up after this short break, Rob Collins is in action up against Dom Taylor as Group 2 makes its middle match move. Big finishes have been the one thing we've kind of missed and lacked this week.
One thing that Rob Collins has lacked, he's only been 29% for the week on the outer ring.
Game shot on the first leg.
I tell you what, that kissed into that second dart there.
Go through after the conclusion of this game.
This is for 2-0. He's going to get a dart to tops. It's been his weakness so far. Not now, it isn't. This is a big surprise.
For parity.
Game shot 2-2.
And so it means there will be no 9-dart shootout.
This 104 did look inviting. Now, is it a must get? Well, that's a fantastic start. A double 16.
Game shot on the fifth leg.
Is what Dom Taylor is all about. We've waited for that moment tonight. Mary time.
To keep himself in with a hope and a chance and a prayer. He's praying. The tops is found, and it is.
Rob Collins.
Can Taylor conjure up something huge to put real surmountable pressure on this 96? There's no bigger pressure than a max, and it forces Collins to come up clutch again. It's going to be one dart in his hand again This time a double
Game,
eight.
shot,
And
the
Rob
match.
Collins
Rob
is
Collins.
still in the equation. He beats Dom Taylor by 4 legs to 3, and the fans that have made the trip across the county have still got hopes with their local man, Rob Collins. Dom Taylor walks back down off to stage left, knowing that he has to beat Denny Oldercoulter. Rob Collins, like he was last night, will be waiting and hoping in the wings. Coming up after the break, Scott Taylor up against Darrell Pilgrim.
Are we seeing the end of Scott Taylor? Darrell Pilgrim only needs the 2 legs. He's 2 darts away from that.
Game,
Of course,
shot,
he only
the
needs the
second
1
leg.
because he's having
Pilgrim.
the perfect week.
What you require,
But
96.
sometimes just the relaxation of the muscles can just bring something a little bit different into play. This is for back-to-back
Game, shot on the
12s.
fourth leg. Scott
Back to
Taylor.
2-2. Send us all the way to a decider, and what has been an absolute treat of a match. It's going to be a dart at tops
Game,
to
shot on
send us
sixth
the
leg.
distance.
Darrell Pilgrim. Darrell, you require 71.
Treble 13. He's finally going to get a dart at tops 4 this match. And that
Game,
just sums up the
shot,
week he's
and the
having. It was a
match.
fabulous
Darrell
game of
Pilgrim.
dart, and Darrell Pilgrim is through to the semi-finals. For Scott Taylor, he'll be very, very disappointed. He's a winner. He came here, he knew he had the game, but just that first game against Justin Smith let him there. But look at the numbers once again from Darrell Pilgrim. It's just becoming a norm. 107.31 is staggeringly good. That's elite. 4 from 6 on the checkout ratio. Another 100-plus finish. The perfect game for Darrell Pilgrim. A sensational win for the Pilgrimer.
Oldercoulter here to level proceedings up. Is going to get a go. A double 12 to level up.
He often closes his eyes. You're just trying to then visualise this dart going in double 12.
Game, shot on the second leg.
Like I
Denny
said, young players
Oldercoulter.
watching what we're seeing tonight.
Double 10 for Dom.
What else can happen? Such a
shot,
tense
and the
end,
match.
but Dom
Dom
Taylor will be in the
Taylor.
semi-finals. In the
Darrell, you require
group
85.
stages come for this moment. He's down to 64 after 12, which is, you could argue, his job done against most people. But not
Game,
against
shot on the
Pilgrim,
first
because the
leg.
boy is
Darrell
absolutely
Pilgrim.
on fire.
For 2-0 in next to no time at all. We'll stay there because the treble leaves himself a dart at the
Game, shot on the
bullseye.
second leg.
And that is
Darrell
absolutely
Pilgrim.
perfect for Mr. P to lead by 2 legs to 0.
Typical finish as well. They'll both start on the 19s. Is he going to go 2 double 18s? There's one.
Game, shot on the third leg. Darrell Pilgrim.
0 commentary needed. Sit back, admire a man in full bloom. Are we seeing
Game,
the
shot on the
beginning
fourth leg. Denny
of
Oldercoulter.
something very, very special?
Free up until that miss at tops. But he's going to come back for 3 more. It's been a good week for Denny Oldercoulter to get through to this particular point. He's shown us some real good
Darrell, you
stuff.
require 40.
But double 10, double 5 doesn't
30.
go. The cry of oh wow
Denny require
from
48.
Pilgrim. And suddenly the unexpected opportunity for Oldercoulter presents itself on double
Game, shot on
16.
the fifth leg. Denny
It's not over
Oldercoulter.
yet.
Tales of the unexpected.
Pilgrim needs to find a couple of trebles. It's as simple as that. That's the first of them. That's the second of them. Class in a glass. And when you needed a max
180.
more than any other time, Pilgrim conjures up one.
What a match. I'm not going to finish off Denny just yet.
85. Darrell, you require 86.
What a sensational match. What a fantastic player. He's 2 darts away. It was
Game,
6 to start a double,
and the
but in the
match,
end, he
Darrell
crosses the
Pilgrim.
line. It's a relieved Darrell Pilgrim in the end. And let's just pay just some thoughts, some real positive thoughts to Denny Alder-Coulter. On debut here at the Motor Super Series, we will see him back. Denny, you've been an absolute credit. Daryl Pilgrim, even though you were feeling it there, look at those numbers, 99.2 on average, another 129 finish. He's been absolutely awesome this week, and let's tick the box that he's got a little bit of bottle as well. Good stuff on Daryl Pilgrim. The next semi-final is up next. It's Dom Taylor against Justin Smith. He'll look at the centre of the board for a big 17. And it's tops for 2-0.
Game shot on the second leg.
And 2-0 it is.
This is here.
Double 16 for 3-0. And Dom Taylor is having a look and seeing what kind of portion of the bed can he find. He can find enough.
He said he was going to win it, but he's walked into something very, very special.
But the bearded dragon has been toppled by the tower as Taylor moves fourth to the final and sets up a heavyweight clash.
Heavy favourite. I think he's handled that fantastically well, and it's a wonderful characteristic to have to the rest of the successes he's having this week.
Game shot on the second leg.
Double 16 is sank for 2-0 to Daryl Pilgrim.
You did say you haven't seen the three bulls yet.
But can Pilgrim finish in style? Finish with a flourish. And Mr. P's perfect week has its fairy tale ending as the Flying Eagle lands a hat-trick of Champions Week appearances. He was the favourite from the onset. He broke record after record. He hit a 9-dart finish, a big fish outshot. And now he's Champions Week bound with an average of 103.66 in the final. 4 out of 4 when it came to the doubling. Daryl Pilgrim with a special week, a special performance to round things off. As for Dom Taylor, he played some immaculate darts to get to this point. He played pretty much the immaculate game against Justin Smith in the semi-finals. 60 darts to secure his place in this particular occasion. But when it came to the big occasion, it was the big man who has come up with a big prize. Daryl Pilgrim, Challenge Tour winner last week, the Super Series winner this week. And he's on stage now talking to Chris Murphy.
He's indeed, Daryl. Congratulations. What a week. Started with that first Challenge Tour win last weekend, and you end up here after a record-breaking week as a champion.
Yeah, it's not been a bad 8-9 days, is it? I'm over the moon.
Absolutely brilliant. Would it have been a bit of an anticlimax, bearing in mind what you've done earlier in the week, to have not won the title tonight?
Yeah, that's the trouble with, obviously, what I did on Tuesday and Challenge Tour at the weekend. If I hadn't won tonight, it wouldn't have meant anything, to be honest.
If you consider your future in darts, you passed here at the Super Series, how big a week has this been in your career?
Yeah, they're absolutely massive, to be honest. Another shot at that Champions Week, so absolutely massive.
And how big could it be? Because it looked like you came here with a lot of confidence, having won the Challenge Tour. How much confidence do you take out of what you've now done this week?
Literally buzzing out my head, the way I've thrown this week, with the Challenge Tour win as well. It's the best I've ever thrown in a week space. Best I've ever thrown.
Just talk to us about Tuesday for a moment before we ask you a few more questions on tonight, because in the space of half an hour, you broke the record, hit a 9-darter, actually lost that match, and then smashed your own record for the highest average here at the Super Series. In fact, the highest average anywhere this year.
Yeah, I was actually, if I hadn't hit a 9-darter in that game that I lost, I would have been absolutely fuming, but it kind of took the edge off it, and then going into the next game so quick, it just carried on flowing.
And how have you been able to kind of keep your feet on the ground to make sure that you got the job done in the end?
A bit of experience, to be honest. I know every game's different, every day's different. You can throw fantastic one day, next day, then nothing.
Right, there is one more moment that you need. You've got a nice £5,000 heading into your bank account, but there's also a trophy to come. And to present that trophy, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former Premier League champion Glen Durrant. Just take that. One more time for Daryl Pilgrim. Daryl, you can take that away. I'm going to have a chat with Glenn to finish the night. Well done. Glenn, I mean, it's quite fitting, isn't it, that this man, Mr. P, Mr. Perfect this week, is the champion.
Yeah, Perfect Pilgrim in Pompey. It's not the easiest thing to say, but he made the game look so ridiculously easy this week. A deserved winner. Another beautiful interview there. He feels like his feet are on the ground and didn't get overexcited this week. A one-sided final. Just the perfect week for Daryl.
He's just having an embrace with Dom Taylor down there. Took him apart in the final, didn't he?
Yeah, surprising. I honestly, genuinely thought it was going to be a very, very close final. Dom Taylor's a name that people are going to see for many, many years. He's just in his infancy, but this type of title, getting into Champions Week and do things for dart players, Daryl Pilgrim, though, is on the up.
Last 2 weeks as well, 2 players that have been to Champions Week twice before, and they've done it again. There are some players who just seem to know how to win on this stage.
And I think there's lots of players. I think it's horses for courses. As a dart player, I would walk into a venue where I've had success before. Honestly. And you just get there and players are doing the Matt Clark, they don't panic when they're losing, they don't get too excited when they win, and he's used his time well in between winning a group. It was a joy to watch, you know, as a commentator now, my new role with what I'm doing, that was just fantastic to see the big smile on his face, his family. And he's got everything, a silky, smooth, Rolls-Royce throw, great attitude, wonderful characteristics. Remember the name, Daryl Pilgrim.
And the last Champions Week, Glenn, finally, Luke Littler came in, the defending champion, had that aura of invincibility. Do you think Pilgrim could come into this next Champions Week with an air of that as well?
He's got something very, very special. Luke Littler is a one in a generation. I mean, he is something very, very special. For Daryl Pilgrim, I would just get back, get out the limelight, just keep practicing hard, doing what you're doing right now, keep improving, get to the next challenge tour. Imagine McHugh School as well, but before that he'll be here for the Champions Week. Don't write him off. I think he's got one hell of a chance.
He certainly has. Well, it has been a week that really did belong to one player at the Super Series. It all starts again on Monday for week 3 to see who can join Pilgrim and Matt Clark at Champions Week. Fallon Sherrock and John Henderson amongst the lineup, kicking off on Monday from 9:30 a.m. on Sporty Stuff TV. But this week belonged to Mr. P, Mr. Perfect, a record-breaking average, a 9-dart finish, and he walked away with the title. Here is to Daryl Pilgrim.